Hi everyone, so I wanted to give you a quick monthly update for, we are now in July. It's all merged into one, hasn't it? Because I know lots of you check in on me most days to see how I am and to see how I'm getting on with my holistic treatment. I think was it February I had my results. The videos on my channel and they were stable and we'd actually ceased any growth, no growth at all. Possible shrinkage according to the definitions of stable, according to medical journals in oncology. And I'm now waiting for my next scan in August. So what's been happening the last 6 months? I can't believe that we've lost half a year of life, which I know everyone has. I know the world has stood still, but I've lost a lot of big opportunities and dreams that I've had this last 6 months, which is true for everyone. But when your time is limited, when you're a terminal cancer patient, it can just be especially hard. But I have been using this time to rest, which I never did, and to heal, and to eat a lot more crap than I normally would have, unfortunately, because food is the only thing to look forward to each day in lockdown. So next scans are August, which, oh my God, it's next month. Whoa. So I had a bit of a epiphany then. I'm like, oh dear God, it's not long to go. So this is where the scan anxiety is going to hit, because now I know I've got a month to go to results. But it also gives you motivation, clean up my diet. I've stopped drinking. I know a few people told me off for that. The last couple of months, I've maybe had one beer. So I'm doing really well with that. That damn frog in my throat every time. I've just bought a juicer. I'm going to start doing like celery juice and things like that each day just to try and get more nutrients in my body. I've been doing vitamin drinks every single day. I've been eating my fruits and things like that. And of course, I've religiously taken my CBD, my RSO, and my Care Oncology protocol every single day. So that's my aspirin, my bemendazole, my doxycycline alternative with the menbendazole, and the metformin, the diabetes drug as well, which has been lowering my blood sugars quite a lot. I feel quite nauseous and sick in the mornings because I take them the night before, and obviously it drops my blood pressure while I sleep. So that's been quite difficult. But I normally bring my blood sugars up each morning with a natural plant-based protein shake that's just got natural fruit sugars in. So that's been quite good for sort of picking me up in the mornings and making sure I don't feel too nauseous and sick anymore. So I've been quarantined and in isolation for 6 months. Of course, I got my government letter back in February saying you need to start shielding. But what actually happened in February, I always want to protect myself and others, but the idea of even being in lockdown for 2 weeks, I was like, I can't do this. I need to go out, I need to do my things and so on. And I can't believe it's now been 6 months in lockdown. It's just insane. The time has dragged, but where has it gone? But in February, just before they closed the pubs and things, just before we went into full lockdown, I actually came down very sick. And the doctors do believe I had COVID. I've got it listed on my oncology. So when I went to oncology for my last scan and to talk to my oncologist, I had to stand outside. She had to put full PPE on, the protective gear, even before everyone was forced to wear it to deal with me. But what happened in February was I just suddenly woke up one day and I just couldn't breathe. And I have asthma anyway, and I normally get pneumonia every year, and I don't really take steroids or any antibiotics for my pneumonia. I normally just ride it out with my inhalers. Asthma is the only thing that I've got medically wrong with me other than the terminal brain cancer. But what happened here was something unlike anything I've ever known. I just could not breathe. And for 2 weeks I was bedridden and I had ambulances, and the doctors actually treated me from home because they said, because of your cancer, we cannot risk taking you into hospital, because if it's not COVID, the coronavirus, it's something you could pick up in hospital. Because Norfolk, actually, where I live in England, had quite a high rate, even compared to other cities, not as bad as London and places like that. Obviously, the underground metro is more populated. But we did actually get hit quite hard. So I actually was in quarantine before everyone else, and everyone's going to the pub and they're all meeting their friends, and I'm like, oh, I'm in bed. But what I was doing is I was taking an inhaler nearly every day. I was running them dry. But luckily my friends and family came back from Spain and bought me a ton from over the counter, because they're actually hard to get prescribed here when I ever use them. So I was just puffing inhalers all day long. And then when the doctor visited me and put me on a steroid treatment for the week, that actually made me feel much better. And then we finished off with antibiotics. But the tests where they swab you weren't readily available because I literally got COVID at the beginning. And I kept saying to everyone, oh, I hope I catch it first because we're going to all be put on ventilators. And I know in the UK there was a ventilator shortage. And due to my asthma, I was like, oh, I need to get on this ventilator if I get it. And then randomly, law of attraction or goodness knows what, I just caught it. But I refused the swab, even though they weren't really readily available, because I'm a little bit of a conspiracy theorist, and I don't talk about it ever because people think you're crazy. But the idea that something could be put into my head, it put me off completely. And the fact that everyone was gagging, and the fact that they say the test didn't work, and it was just all a mess. But they treated me for it and followed up with antibiotics, and I felt much better. And then after that, I was just jogging and walking 5 kilometers a day, 3 miles a day, just to build my health up, build my immunity up. And whilst I couldn't breathe, and whilst it was quite scary, the things I saw in the press were obviously terrifying. And I know in the UK especially, maybe the USA, there's been a lot of sort of scaremongering in the press and so on. And I've actually had quite a few friends with COVID, and they've been okay. But with me, it was like, it felt like something I'd never known. It didn't feel like my normal pneumonia. It just felt different. And it was scary because of what I saw in the press, because I saw everyone on ventilators, and they took it quite seriously, sending me ambulances. I think it was quite a sort of psychosomatic response, the placebo effect. They tell you you've got something, and then it's, oh, crap, and it makes you feel 10 times worse. But I did clear up really quickly. But I did expect worse. And I think that came from the media, seeing things on Facebook, TV, and so on. Several of my family caught it, not immediate family nearby, but family who were on a cruise ship. And they stayed in rooms in quarantine with people who had it, and they tested positive. And they had one of them had emphysema, an elderly person. They were fine. So that sort of gave me hope. But I now realise the things that especially Donald Trump has been testing for coronavirus, I've already been using, and I think that actually reduced the inflammation in my lungs and my body. They're now trialing CBD, and of course I'm the cannabis queen. I drink it freely every day. I go through bottles of the stuff. Also, my THC obviously reduces inflammation, so that probably helped. And then Trump said about hydrochloroquine, which I'd only just got my prescription for from a private doctor in the UK. It cost me £100, so about $130, $150 for the prescription from a private holistic doctor. And then it's sold out everywhere because Trump said it was being tested to see if it helps COVID. Everyone went crazy. People with lupus who got it prescribed couldn't get it, and I couldn't get it. However, I did read early on that vitamin D, not vitamin C, was really, really good for COVID. And of course, with my cancer, I take a lot of vitamin D. So I also believe that helped. So that really got me through. And then by March, I was better, and I've been fine since March. My cancer, I've just been resting. I have not felt well, though, in the last couple of months. And I think that's because I'm just bored. My diet's not great. I'm lonely. I haven't seen my friends. And I'm sort of not in a routine. I'm running and training and jogging every day just out of boredom to keep my body fit and strong. And now obviously the lockdown eases this coming weekend, so I'm going to go out for dinner with a few friends and people and see my family a little bit more. I had a newborn nephew about 2-3 months ago, and he's perfect, and his name is Tommy, and he's so cute. And I've been going through my own IVF battles, which I'll talk about in another video because of my brain tumour, I cannot have children, but that's a long-winded story, so that's going to be in a separate video. But it means that obviously meeting my little nephew was perfect, and my little sister Charlie, I'm so proud of her. And little Tommy was beautiful, but because of COVID, and obviously because I was sick, and I'd been to the supermarket quite a few times, because everyone was working, they couldn't always take me to the supermarket, so I was going out and about and obviously protecting myself and others, wearing the masks and so on. I met him through a window, and it was just horrible meeting this newborn baby, and you couldn't even cuddle him. And I got to meet him officially last week, because I've been in quarantine other than Tesco's. I've not been there anyone. Obviously quarantine for a month and then lockdown, for the last 5 months. And I finally got to hold him the other day, and he was massive. Just even 2 months, he'd grown to nearly half the size of me, I swear, my stomach. And I'm a teeny, so that's probably why. And it was just so lovely to meet him. But it's just showing the hardships that we've gone through. We haven't been able to see grandparents. I mean, mine aren't alive. But seeing people in care homes, meeting our newborns, pregnant women haven't been able to have their boyfriends and husbands in scans. My sister had to go alone. He was there for the birth, thank God. And just how lonely this whole experience has been for everyone. And now we're moving into possibly a second lockdown in the UK. And it's just like, I just want to get my life back. But how lockdown has affected patients is there's been no new chemo for anyone because of the immune response of the COVID, pneumonia and everything. People just, to have chemo and lower your immunity and your white blood count, your white cells even more, would have been deadly for many people. However, in the lack of chemo that's been happening in the UK, that's also been deadly. And they delayed my scans by nearly 3 months, which, when you maybe possibly have a month to live, even though that was a couple of years ago, my scans are stable since. My last scan before this one, there was activation. And so that 3-month wait was just terrifying for me and my family. But we did it. We got there, and all signs of the cancer activation has gone. We believe it was because of the dead cells in my brain and not clearing them through using serapeptides as much as I should, because I take so many tablets a day. And I'm scared of taking tablets. I actually have a benign tumour in my throat. It's not a tumour, it's, I can't even pronounce it, but it's a ring around my esophagus, just below my windpipe. So if I've took too many tablets and they get stuck, I can breathe a little. And I've choked down the phone to an ambulance before. But that's sort of given me a phobia of taking tablets. So the serapeptides was quite big, and I did ignore it most of the time. So it's my own fault. And people say, oh, you should have taken it. But when you're actually in that position, it's actually really, really hard to do the things you know you have to do to stay alive. And that's a real big part of my struggle, is finding that motivation sometimes. So in not clearing these dead cancer cells, I believe it used it as nutrients, as I said in my last video, to feed the tumour, and that's why I got active again. But in my last scan, I obviously showed no signs of this activation, which was amazing. So we're all really happy. And I'm going to be doing another video about serapeptides. I'm just trying to get my brain wrapped around it all, lots of scientific terms. And I want to give you the complete layman's version, the simple version, because I know all of these protocols, all of this scientific jargon, it all gets very, very confusing for people, especially if you've not been on your cancer journey long and you don't quite understand, so much like blood-brain barriers and so on. So I'm just trying to sort of get this a simplified version as much as I can, and I can give you this new video and my IVF. But this was just a little update to say I'm alive and well. I'm as healthy as I can be, tired, nauseous, and just a little sickly, but feeling good. And just so, so grateful that I'm in this position of not taking chemo, that whilst the world has stopped for 6 months, I can still be there on my battle, on my holistic journey, cure myself, hopefully, or stabilize myself again for all these wonderful memories that we're going to have for the rest of the year, hopefully. Or we're going to spend the entire year in lockdown, in which case I hope I achieve something like shrinking my cancer, because I haven't achieved anything else. So I hope you're all safe and well. As ever, thank you to our emergency services. The ambulances that have come out to me have been incredible. I feel guilty even ordering an ambulance right now, because I feel there's some old lady somewhere who needs it more than me. But obviously I was very sick, so I did need it. And love to anyone that's suffered with COVID. I know a lot of people have had it, but I'm so grateful I don't know anyone who's died or had it very seriously. So that's, God bless for that. And obviously thank you to all our military and police at the moment, with a lot of protesting and rioting going on, a lot of things going on in the world right now. We need our services more than ever. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you to everyone who's checking in on me daily. I just wanted to let you know that I'm okay, I'm doing well. And I hope you're all doing well too. So I'm going to have some more videos with some scientific bits coming up this week. Bye, love to you all.